Good day. It's Thursday, April the 29th. Today we're joined by Corey Giasson, CEO of Mustgrow Biologics, MGRO on the CSE. Today, Mustgrow announced that it will be completing field trials with NexusBioAg for the application of Mustgrow's TerraMG biopesticide on canola seed for clubroot disease and on pulse crop targeting Aphanomyces. Clubroot disease, which is estimated at causing roughly $500 million of crop damage annually on Canada's canola crops, and Aphanomyces, which is estimated at causing $20 million of damage in Canada and over $100 million globally on pulse crops. NexusBioAg is a division of Univar, which is a $4 billion New York Stock Exchange chemical and agriculture company. Firstly, Corey, can you tell us how come you're working with NexusBioAg and tell us a little more about these field trials?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me, Martin. With NexusBioAg, I mean, they're one of the preeminent ag distribution companies here in Western Canada. They deal quite a bit with Canadian pulses, products that go into those pulse crops, and also on the canola side as well. And they've got a great team in terms of agronomists and on the sales and marketing side. So we're very excited to be collaborating with NexusBioAg on these field trials. In terms of canola, you know, clubroot is a devastating disease affecting some canola land here in Western Canada. Canola is one of the most important crops grown here for Western Canadian farmers. It is a cash crop, specifically for the farmers in the central part of the Alberta and Saskatchewan. There's about 22 million acres of canola grown annually. And if those acres are infected with clubroot, you can't grow canola on those particular pieces of land for like 17 years. So it could be quite devastating to get that disease in your land. Plus, it's very easily spread from one acre to the other. There's farmers out there with that'll spray their machinery with I can't remember the chemical. It's like hydrogen chloride or something like that, where they'll actually spray their machinery to make sure that they're not spreading clubroot from one particular piece of land to the other. So it's quite an important that we are testing our technology here on clubroot. We had very good results in field and in lab, and now we're looking to get our technology tested in the field, and it's great to be partnering with Nexus for clubroot. On Aphanomyces, same thing affecting pulse crops. There's about 9 to 10 million acres of pulse crops grown annually, specifically in the southern part of the province for lentils. And if you think of pulses now, plant-based protein, they're going to become very important. These pulse crops, they're already very important for protein consumption around the world, specifically in the Middle East and Asia. But with these pulses, if you get Aphanomyces in your on your land, you can't grow lentils. You're going to have significantly reduced yields, and the economics of growing these particular pulses won't make sense. So both those diseases, either for clubroot or Aphanomyces, there is no current chemical solutions. And we're excited with the results that we've seen in lab and in greenhouse to be able to take our product and test it in the field. And we're very excited to be testing it with reputable companies such as NexusBioAg.
And your TerraMG, the application, it's sprayed on the ground prior to the planting. It's sprayed on the earth. The soil is kind of cleaned from that. Hopefully the clubroot and that is destroyed, and then they plant the seed in there, and then you watch how it grows. Is that basically how the trials work?
Yeah, so these are diseases that are in the soil, and we want to treat the soil before the crop is growing. In terms of application method, it could potentially be sprayed or injected or broadcast in that. So, I mean, that's some of more of the information that we're going to have to gather with Nexus in terms of application methods. But we want to treat the soil so that the crop, canola or the pulse crops, can grow.
I'm not a prairie farmer ag guy. So is the planting season happening shortly, or has it already been planted and the TerraMG applied? What is the growth cycle with both the pulses and the canola?
Yep, no, out here in Saskatchewan, specifically in the southern part of the province, farmers are starting to seed. Winter's over, spring's here, and seeding happens. over the next month or two, specifically the next month, you'll see a lot of seeding getting done here in Saskatchewan and Alberta. And that's when our field trials are going to start. Harvest is going to happen, in August, September, October. And, what we're taking, these field trials are going to be planting these crops to yield, and, results will be coming in after. So there's a lot of work done up front in terms of, applying the product and then seeding the crop, analyzing the crop as it's growing throughout the season in terms of these trials, and then also taking the crop off and analyzing yields and, the roots and all of that stuff. I'm not a scientist, but, I know when they, in Saskatchewan, when we seed in the spring and we harvest in the late summer and fall. So it's going to happen over that time period.
Are they applying it on fields that have already been infected with clubroot, or is it sort of it's sort of like an insurance? We'll spray it to make sure we don't get clubroot happening in this grow season.
Yeah, no, it's in fields that have already been infected. Yeah, it's not a disease that you want to be spreading around.
Yeah, and so if they hadn't applied this, these fields would basically be bare, or they would plant some other crops because they'd be afraid of sort of having a bad canola crop infected with the clubroot?
Yeah, exactly. So, these infected fields, you're not going to see canola growing in them, and but you'll see other crops, say wheat or barley or other types of crops growing. The difference is the economics for canola are far superior than that of wheat, and it's a cash crop. You want to fit canola in your crop rotation, or lentils if you're in southern Saskatchewan or Alberta. You want to fit lentils in your crop rotation because that's the cash crop. I grew up on a farm in southwest Saskatchewan, and the only reason why we grew wheat was so that we can grow lentils. And you can't grow lentils every year, and you can't grow canola every year. So you have to fit it into the rotation, but they're very, very important crops here in Western Canada.
Oh, okay. So that's what little I know of farming. That's a crop rotation. You change the crop every year so that different nutrients get rebuilt up and doesn't get too depleted by the specific nutrients that one type of crop requires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not just that; it's also to control diseases in that.
Okay.
Bring in a crop rotation to make sure that clubroot doesn't take hold in a particular piece of land. So it's very important to follow a crop rotation. What we're seeing with our technology potentially is that we can reclimate land that's already been affected by clubroot potentially. And in addition, there's potential that maybe we at a low enough application rate, it could be preventative instead of not just in reclamating land, but being able to apply it through all acres to prevent clubroot from even taking hold.
Oh, okay. So right now on this dosage or the application rates, it's sort of designed to clean prior infected soil, but in the future, maybe you do a light spray of it on the fields just to make sure that the clubroot never gets a toehold on it?
We're in field trials here right now, and there's a lot of information that we need to gather over the next little while in terms of, how to apply it. What's the application method? Can it be a pre-plant treatment to reclimate the soil, or can it be a pre-plant treatment for preventing clubroot or Aphanomyces from even taking hold?
All right. And so it sounds like they'll be gathering, I presume, data throughout the growing season, and then the real sort of proof of the pudding comes when the crop is there, and then how much, what the yields are like and what the soil samples are at the end. So data from this is maybe at the end of the year, a kind of a Q4 type event where you'll get data out of this?
Yeah, Q4, Q1 next year. Yeah, it takes time for the scientists to gather the data and compile it and analyze it. But I mean, our greenhouse studies, they involved taking a canola plant and a pulse crop to yield, and to analyzing the roots of them. So what we're doing is basically doing the same thing that we've done in the greenhouse, but in the field in a natural environment.
So if presuming that these are successful field trials, and like anything, they could be mildly successful or knock them out of the park successful. That's what the trial. Your prior data in a more controlled environment has been very positive, but you never know until you get to the end results. Could this lead to possible commercial sales in like next year, 2022, or what's the, like, can you talk about the registration process and what needs to happen before this can hopefully be rolled out across Canada?
Yeah, it's key for us, first of all, and first and foremost, is for us to have successful field trials. And with successful field trials, then we'll be looking to apply for registration. The interesting thing about our collaboration with NexusBioAg is, again, they've got a distribution network of farmers, industry representatives that are going to be seeing these field trials, and with positive results, there is potential. Again, it's potential for fast tracking registration for emergency use. Again, Clubroot is a serious disease. Same with Aphanomyces. If there is a natural product that works in field, farmers will want to use it as soon as possible. So there is potential that that we could get fast track registration with positive field results, and working and collaborating with industry representatives.
Okay, so it's Agriculture Canada that has sort of the registration process that would review the data, look at like the benefits, the risks, and like the economic value to help kind of determine if, hey, this is sort of a breakthrough treatment, we should roll it out, or potentially allow it to partially roll out next year.
Yeah, it's the same. No, sorry, it's not Ag Canada, but it'd be the PMRA, so Pest Management Regulatory Agency here of Canada.
Okay.
They do all the registrations for any of the chemistries, any of the synthetic chemicals that are being used here in Canada, and also any of the biologics and that are being used in Western Canada. So that's who we'll be working with.
Okay, that sounds great. I think that covers most of things, everything that I can think of. Is there any other sort of insight or color you want to give to this?
No, just excited to be working with a group like Nexus, and with their expertise and our expertise, and our the technology that we have. Very excited to get into field trials and seeing what the results will be.
All right, Corey, thanks a lot. That was really interesting. Best of luck on this, and we'll talk again soon, and we'll definitely talk after the results come out, and we can see what kind of impact that has on the crops. Thank you.
Thanks, Martin.